You know her from The West Wing, the movie Philadelphia, and The American President.
At 5:45 doesn't do me any good, Louis. 5:45 Network News is in makeup.
You have 12 people working for you. Why do you...
Guys, do I have to be here for this meeting?
Sorry, sir. It's on the evening news. It's buried as the third story.
It's got a bullet.
Sydney was at a protest rally. They burned a flag.
Today?
About 13 years ago.
In front of the Department of Commerce, anti-apartheid. I could go to jail for showing it to you, which obviously I'm not going to do. I have blacked out any lateral reference that is code word classified. Those are the only things I've blacked out, and they are in no way relevant to your question. Look at me. Do you believe me?
In critically acclaimed one-woman shows, Smith mimics real people she's interviewed talking about actual racial events. The result is a collision of voices that forces audiences to think about race in new ways because they hear voices they don't usually listen to.
People are remarkably willing to talk to me. Usually, I think, because I say to them, and it's true, I would like to hear every side of the story. And I think a lot of people feel that they want to correct something that they've seen in the news, or they want to add something to it.
You all know that last year I threw a Legends Ball honoring, extraordinary women who came before me, and Anna was one of my guests that weekend. And afterwards, you sent me the loveliest note. I carry that note around. You can write. And now you've written this book called Letters to a Young Artist, which is by my bedside. I'm going to give it to every person I know.
I'd like that.
Okay. I just think that book is so great. And in the book, you talk a lot about presence.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, also in the book, and I'm sure that's not the only reason you're bringing it up, at one point there's a whole paragraph, one line that says Oprah Winfrey has presence. I go around with a tape recorder and ask people to talk to me, and then I listen to what they told me over and over again, and I just keep saying the words over and over again until something happens where I start to give the illusion that I'm kind of like them.
So when I was a child, growing up in what was then a segregated town, Baltimore, Maryland, my grandfather told me that if you say a word often enough, it becomes you. I have an enormous curiosity, and so I thought that when I started my project called On the Road to Search for American Character, that I'd go around the country with a tape recorder and tape record people and say their words over and over again until they became me, as a way of becoming America. So you ask about a defining moment. American history. Ain't no defining moment for me. It's an accretion of moments that add up to where we are now, where trivia becomes news, and more, less and less awareness of the pain of the other. So this is an interesting dilemma with which we're faced. I don't know if you can use this or not, but I was quoting Wright Morris, writer from Nebraska, who says, we're more and more into communications and less into communication. Okay, kids, I gotta scram. Gotta go see my cardiologist. And that's Studs Terkel. I wanted to be in that in-between space. I know that I'm me and I can't be anybody else. But I thought that if I experimented with my grandfather's words, I would certainly learn that I'm Anna, I'm not that thing. But every once in a while in my process, I forget I'm Anna. So I'm not Anna, I'm not the other thing. I'm in what's called the not, which is a positive. Why? Why do we have to be left out? Is it because we are Korean? Is it because we have no politicians? Is it because we don't speak good English? Why? Why did we have to be left out? We didn't qualify for medical treatment. No food stamp, no GR, no welfare, anything. Many African Americans who never work get minimum amount of money to survive. We didn't get any because we have a car and a house. And we are high taxpayer. Where do I find justice? many Korean Americans' businesses were burned to the ground. In this odd way, they were stand-ins for white people. So even as we talk about Asian Americans as the model minorities, let's not forget that they can also be revealed to be stand-ins who have to take the hit. I want to encourage you to argue, to really argue. Not this stuff that we see on television about being right, who's got the best thing to say, but to really argue through your points of view to find a not another place, right? So this is the great anthropologist. I didn't do this. I found it when I was just a kid trying to find my way in New York in the 70s. And this is the great anthropologist Margaret Mead, white woman, and the great novelist James Baldwin, a black man. And I'm going to do for you this conversation, part of this conversation, to offer something about let's not be imprisoned by that dreadful expression PC. Let's just go ahead and have our arguments in case they can breed something brand new. But you see, I agree with you about this, about you and me now, what, and the children and the future. But if you take the past, all right, the past is the present. Wait a minute. My ancestors were hunted through the caves of Scotland and tortured, and I know. Should I go back now? I'm not talking about, and have a conversation with the Catholic Scots. I'm not talking about going back. Nobody can anyway. No, but you were talking about the framework is American civilization, isn't it? Yes, and my ancestors were hunted through the caves before they got here too. Yes, and I don't think it's particularly relevant except what I heard as a child. Yes, but my ancestors also had a curious history.
It's my opportunity to try to engage with people when things are upside down. And it's my experience that when things are upside down, there's an opening for a person like me. I mean, I think that as an actress in particular, I'm basically a fool, and I see the world upside down. And so people like politicians are more trained to see it right side up, or at least to make us think that they're seeing it right side up. So from my upside down position, there's some things I can see.
To help us understand truth?
Well, no, I mean, I think when things fall apart, you can see more, and you can even be a part of indicating new ways that things can be put together.